Carol Roth joins us now, CNBC Contributor, author of the New York Times bestseller, The Entrepreneur Equation, and a judge on Mark Burnett's new technology competition show, America's Greatest Makers. All right, Carol, welcome back. Good to see you. So I was a little surprised. Forget the kids. And again, it's unscientific as could be, but this is New York.
Yes.
And we saw a woman, we saw someone who looked like they could be Hispanic, we saw a white male, we saw a guy from Texas, and they almost say Trump.
You know, I go all around this country and I spend a lot of time on public transportation and taxi cabs with drivers, and I ask them all the time, what are you hearing? And they all say Trump, Trump, Trump over and over and over again.
I got a great story very quickly. Someone I know took a cab to the airport. I'm not sure if it was from here to the airport or when they landed in Washington, D.C. It was an Indian, an Indian cab driver, Muslim, self-identified as Muslim, and went on and on about how, you know, CNN and these networks, they don't tell the truth. We need a Muslim ban. I'm voting for Trump, and Muslims are going to vote for Trump. And this friend of mine was shocked.
Because the problem is that the media narrative is coming out of the coast. It's very New York, it's very California. In the rest of the country, which makes up the majority of the country, people don't think that way.
Right.
And so the media misses what, you know, the average American citizen is feeling and thinking, and that's, you know, the whole reason Trump is doing as well as he's doing to begin with.
50-33 with Hispanics in this Quinnipiac poll. Better than Romney did last time around, and better in 08 than McCain did. And I'll maintain that there are Hispanics who were polled who don't have the nerve to say Trump when it will be Trump.
I will tell you, I have so many friends and colleagues who are immigrants, and those are the ones who are the most forceful about wanting to have strict immigration because they all followed the rules. They have friends and family who are over in other countries that they're trying to get into this country, and they're saying, well, why should somebody else not follow the rules when I followed the rules?
Mike Lee was pretty mad at me, I think.
But I'm not mad at you,
you know
Steve.
what? When his first reason in why he's not supporting Trump yet is he said that my best friend, Senator Cruz, my best friend's father was involved in the JFK assassination, and you're a constitutionalist? That seems like a weak argument.
It does seem like a weak argument, and you know, Donald Trump he's an entertainer.
He's Donald Trump.
You can't take the things that he said like that seriously. Nobody does it. If you're playing that game, you're missing the entire point.
Right, and we've craved a non-politician to be president, or always asked, does it have to be a politician? So now we got one, and they expect him to meet the standards of a politician. It's just not fair.
No, and I think the fact that they say, well, you know, he doesn't have the experience, that's exactly what we want. The people who have the experience have screwed everything up.
Absolutely.
We want to get rid of all of them.
All right. You guys have experience on the phones, but we welcome that at 877-Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Jim is in Murphy, North Carolina. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good. Say hello to Carol as well.
Hi, Carol. How you doing?
Hey, Jim.
Listen, I have a couple things to say quickly. Number one, I think that the Republican Party, unless they get behind Donald Trump and get behind him rather quickly and stop, you know, feeling sorry for themselves, we're going to lose this election, and we cannot afford to lose this election.
Right.
Because, you know, the alternative is a gulag.
Well,
and I just can't understand why there's so many people that don't understand the free market system that made this country great, the individualism that made this country great, and we need to have Donald Trump as president. And if we don't get behind him, it's going to be a disaster.
Right. I mean, Carol, today Mitch McConnell came out with his most, I guess, his strongest statement against Trump so far. Of course, Ryan's not on board. You heard Lee. And here's a time when they should be trashing the heck out of Hillary, and it should be a cakewalk. A cakewalk. Forget the media, and the Republicans just won't get behind him. Why?
You know, my philosophy is...
I mean, Lee is an establishment, okay? McConnell and Lee are different.
I think they're still waiting for the convention. I think they're still waiting to see if there's some kind of weird bag of tricks or thing that they won't have to, you know, bear the brunt of having happened and say, oh, well, this is what happened, so we're going to change things. I think once the convention happens, it's solidified. We have a VP candidate. I think the dynamic changes. But, you know, back to Jim's point, the alternative, when you think about the Supreme Court, when you think about all of the things that are at stake, you cannot vote for Hillary Clinton. So I guess the question, if they're not behind Trump,
Well,
what are they for?
Well, Lee said he will not vote for Hillary. But if you don't vote for Hillary and you vote for the third party and you're a Republican, then you're voting for Hillary.
Exactly.
It's sick. Hey, Jim, thank you very much, sir. Okay?
Thank you, Steve.
Good to talk to you. Raymond is in Sandy, Utah. Did you hear your senator with me, Raymond?
Yes.
And what'd you think?
Well, what I heard, what I didn't like. I don't know. I haven't read the book, so I can't say what his lost Constitution is. I can only say how we drifted away from the Constitution.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sandy, go ahead. You're on. Keep going.
Yes, I just want to make the comment on the lost Constitution. I haven't read the book, but I'm sure there is a lost Constitution. And if I could paraphrase it in this thing, when the Constitution was formed, it was for the people, by the people, and with the people. But what it's drifted away from is those people, and it's drifted towards the politician. We, the politicians, for the politician. And they've lost the content and the contact with the general public. That has to be reversed. And when we got Speaker Ryan, Mitch McConnell, and the old establishment that are only self-interest, and along with maybe Mike is drifting in that direction, then there's no way to correct this thing unless you get an outsider like Trump, who is really an outsider because he never held office anywhere.
Right. No, Raymond, very well said. Thank you very much. Very well said. Now, if I was on radio right now, I would have made him do it all again. I would have said, hey, Raymond, you're on. What can I do for you? And he would have repeated it again. But he's right. He's absolutely right.
You've got people working for the government instead of the government working for the people. It is mass insanity. It is the reason why Trump started doing well to begin with. It's the reason why he still has the strong support base that he does. And that is what people are frustrated with. And Hillary and everything about her is exactly the opposite, because she's not just for the government, she's for herself.
Trustworthiness, let's see. I'm looking, there was trustworthiness. I put it in here somewhere. Trump leads a 45-37. Strong leader. Trump leads 49-43. Versus ISIS, who do you trust? Trump 52-39. I mean, there are other, she wins in some, obviously.
Economic, he wins.
Yeah, economic, which is the number one issue.
Yes.
By 16% picked that, and every other thing had like 2, 3, 1. Well, and Trump leads in the economics. I wrote it down. He's way ahead. I don't have it here, but he's way ahead.
But you know, the people vote at the end of the day. They vote with their pocketbooks.
Yeah.
That is the important issue for the people of this country.
I've never owned a pocketbook.
You should get one.
Yes, and I can vote. Let's go to Trigger from Detroit. Hello, Trigger.
Hey, Steve, Carol, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
All right. Well, hey, I'm still here crying over Senator Lee's buddy's dad's feelings. My heart is so broken. What a crybaby. This guy, how did this guy even become a senator? This is the problem with
I supported him. I thought he was good. I just don't like, when you're Mike Lee and you wrote a book on the trampling of the Constitution, and you see that Hillary said she'd go even further in executive orders, and you're telling me Trump insulted Senator Cruz's father, and now I may not vote for him. I know there were other reasons. I have a problem.
The Constitution.
I lost you there. Yeah, go ahead.
Words versus action.
Really
yeah, words versus
action. Words versus action. People are upset about Trump's words versus the actions that we have seen Hillary do over and over and over again.
Right. Trigger, you think? What do you think's going to happen, Trigger?
I think that the crooked Republicans and the rest of the Democrats will do anything in their power to make sure that he doesn't get elected, and I mean anything. I'm scared for the guy.
Well, God forbid. I hope you're dead wrong. No pun intended there. Trigger, thank you very much. And of course, when someone was arrested at a rally for trying to grab a cop's gun and saying he wanted to kill Trump, the media yawned, and what's her name? The one on ABC used to be on CNN. Sonny Hostin said there's no excuse for that ever, but and then went on to make an excuse. All right, up next, Republican from the great state of Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn. Congressman Marsha Blackburn will be here, plus Carol sticks around, and more of your calls coming straight up. Don't go away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with Carol Roth, CNBC contributor, author of the New York Times bestseller, The Entrepreneur Equation. And, of course, she's a judge on Mark Burnett's new technology competition show, America's Greatest Makers. 877 Newsmax, and very interesting conversation with the congressman. I always love talking to her. And let's go to the phones. We go to Florence, Indiana, and say hello to Barb. Hi, Barb.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love your show. Just want to let you know that.
Thank you very much.
The reason I'm calling is because after seeing Mike Lee on before, it really upset me. I'm a Trump supporter, obviously, and it's just like I get tired of these guys coming on and peddling their books and stuff like that, and they're not supporting our candidate. The people are speaking here, and they need to support us. Because we've supported them. It's our turn now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And Carol, again, for a man whose book is all about, people trampling on the Constitution, he got Hillary saying, if I'm elected, I'm going to go further than he did in his immigration executive order. Not that he's voting for Hillary, but for Mike Lee, of all people, not to be on board with Trump because he doesn't like, among other things, he doesn't like what Trump said about Ted Cruz's father. It's kind of juvenile.
It's very petty. It's very petty. And I think what Barb's saying, you can make this analogy to what happened in Britain with Brexit, where the people spoke. And, people who were in charge didn't want to hear that. The elites didn't want to hear that.
Yep.
Certain members of parliament didn't want to hear this. But that was the will of the people. And I do think that there is a change going on in this country. And like Barb said, the people spoke.
Right.
And you have to listen to what the people say.
You came out with a tweet about not that into you. What was that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I said that Britain just not that into EU.
Yes. I like that. That's very clever. Barb, I appreciate the call, and you are the people, Barb. You represent the people, and thank you for being out there, and thanks for the kind words. Let's go up to Buffalo, New York, and say hello to Scott. Hi, Scott.
How you doing, Steve? How you doing, Carol?
My condolences to the loss of your coach Ryan's dad, Buddy Ryan. He was a great defensive coordinator, one of the best of all time. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, he was. First of all, I want to ask, why isn't Clinton and Obama in prison? If they were Republicans, they would be in prison. And second, the Republicans made Donald Trump. They didn't like Ben Carson. They didn't like Carly Fiorina. They didn't like Herman Cain. The Republicans made Donald Trump, and
Scott, I couldn't agree more with you on the Republicans, like people like Mitch McConnell, who said it was nonsense when I confronted him on that. As far as being in jail, I don't know about Obama. He might have been impeached, but Hillary certainly. But very quickly, 30 seconds, Carol. The Attorney General of the United States met on her private plane on a runway with Bill Clinton in Phoenix right before the Benghazi report came out yesterday. She's going to determine Hillary's fate, possibly.
Yeah, to be fair, there are a lot of women who've met on a plane with Bill Clinton for 15 minutes.
There you go. All right. On that note, thank you for the call, sir. Good to talk to you. More with Carol Roth, your calls, plus Give Me Five. It's all straight ahead. Do not go away on Newsmax Television. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now, my Newsmax TV colleague, Miranda Khan. She has more on that horrific Istanbul terror attack, all the latest. Miranda?
Thanks, Steve. U.S. airports are on high alert today following the attack in Turkey. Now, CIA Director John Brennan warns that there may be more attacks yet to come, this time on U.S. soil. All this comes as Americans prepare to celebrate Independence Day this weekend.
He opened his shirt. There was a bomb here.
It was a total chaos.
Shot, done, bomb.
We all started to hide.
As eyewitnesses describe the horrifying moments of yesterday's deadly attack at Istanbul's airport, a new warning tonight.
We cannot rest at all. We have to increase our efforts.
Meanwhile, President Obama met with Canada's Prime Minister and Mexico's President today for the North American Summit, offering these remarks in light of the tragedy that claimed the lives of 41 people.
We can and we will defeat those who offer only death and destruction.
Just hours before the president spoke, added security guards were called out to JFK Airport. While it turned out to be a false alarm, the level of fear is real.
It's scary.
And it's also rising.
There's something going on that's really, really bad.
Several security officials, both in Turkey and the U.S., are already blaming ISIS for the terror attack, but the group has yet to formally claim responsibility. The attack also prompted Donald Trump to renew his calls for waterboarding. Steve, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Miranda. And, I want to talk to Carol real quick before we get to a phone call or two. Carol Roth, of course, contributor CNBC, and you see her on the new show, America's Greatest Makers. Waterboarding. When we cut off waterboarding, our military trains, our SEALs, they all train with waterboarding. And to think, like Trump says, they chop off our heads. Everything goes.
Right.
They're laughing at us. They're
a kitten.
They're laughing at us. They lower people in cages down and drown them if they didn't chop their heads off first.
Right.
And we won't protect ourselves by getting information for sticking someone's head underwater.
Yeah, this is the whole PC culture gone amok, Steve, and I fundamentally don't understand. We're talking about terrorism. We're talking about protecting ourselves from evil people who do not understand anything other than evil. You have to be able to fight fire with fire.
Absolutely. All right, let's get a phone call or two in before Give Me Five. And Alan is in Milton, Florida. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Good. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, I've been watching your show for 2 years, and I appreciate it and like it very much.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed in Senator Lee. He sang the same song with J.D. Hayworth last night. They played a scrimmage game, and everybody was on the same team, and Trump became the quarterback, And now what are these politicians going to do? They're going to sit on the bench? We have the Super Bowl now. Everybody has to get on the same team and win this Super Bowl against Hillary Clinton because she's a cheater and she is not playing fair anyway.
You know what, Alan, tomorrow...
It's going to be a disaster.
Tomorrow I have Lenny Dykstra from the 86 Mets, okay? 30 years ago, they won the World Series. That team hated each other in many respects. There were fistfights on that team, okay? But you're right. The analogy is great, Carol, because when push came to shove, they came together and they won the championship.
85 Bears, look at Penny Hardaway and Shaq. It's always like this. When you have people who have big egos, they find it difficult to get along, but it's genius.
You don't hear
pull it together, it is genius.
You don't hear one player saying, I'm not going to play in the championship because he insulted my friend. I mean,
Alan, I love a good football
great
analogy.
Great analogy, Alan.
Yes.
All right, now quickly, I want to go to Paul from New York. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, Steve, how you doing? Carol, nice to see you.
Thank you.
Listen, guys, the one thing I believe that Trump should reach out to Cruz, should apologize. Insulting his wife, insulting his father was wrong. Anyone that would insult Trump's family, he would expect an apology. Now, that being said, I'm a Cruz supporter, but I'm going to vote for Trump. I just donated to the Trump campaign, and I expect him to win.
Okay, fair enough. Paul, you're a good man, and thank you very much. Sorry, so short call again. We'll have more time. To me, Cruz facilitated it, started it because he didn't blast when they put Melania's, semi-nude picture out, and he just let it be and didn't say anything. Anyway, it is always good to see you. Carol Roth, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and talented, who comes up with great Twitter remarks. It's always good to see you. Thank you, Carol.